it's been really interesting because I think that I'm like the antithesis of pretty much like everything that my family expected of me. When I was younger, I was a straight girl, Christian, Lutheran, and like I was like, well, I'm gonna find a husband and we're gonna get married and have children and the white picket fence, nuclear family, and I'm never gonna get a tattoo or a piercing, and I'm never gonna smoke or drink, and like very straight edge, like clear cut, this is who I thought I was gonna be. And as you can see, that's changed. So I don't so much feel the pressure anymore to conform to that, but it is kind of hard for me when I have to keep bringing up all of these different aspects of my identity to say like my dad and be like, okay, well, I'm queer and I'm trans and I'm polyamorous, so I'm gonna have multiple partners throughout my life, and you know, just like kind of challenging all of what he thinks is the norm too, you know? So it has been really interesting, but thankfully I have a wonderful family and they've been very gracious, and I haven't had any issues with that. So they're very accepting of me, and they do their best to support me. Something of just like what I've noticed is a lot of people these days, like my friends in my group particular, kind of understand that like sexuality and gender is really fluid. And so going with a more rigid identity or set identity, like I'm only gay, like I'm a gay man, I'm only attracted to men, or I'm a woman and I'm only attracted to women. Like I don't ever really hear, like I don't know if I know someone who identifies as a lesbian. I mean, other than maybe like Nancy, like people my age, yeah, people my age don't really say like, oh, I'm strictly lesbian, I am strictly gay. Like a lot of them are just like, yeah, I'm open to anything. I like anyone, or, you know, my gender is fluid, like my sexuality is fluid. And I think that we just recognize that, like, for example, what we're into right now might not be what we're into next week, next year, 5 years from now. And so, you know, things are always changing. When I first came out, I said I'm bisexual. And now I just go with queer. That's what I identify as. I also, when I first came out as trans, I came out as non-binary, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm a trans man. Now I use lots of different labels. So things change, you know, it's all fluid. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think in our culture, we are kind of like, well, once you come out as one thing, you're that thing. I've come out so many times, you know, things change. I'm young, and even if you're old, you can change. You know, people are always changing. So I think a lot of young people and just people in general have mental health issues, but it definitely doesn't help being queer. And I think it's something that is really important to acknowledge, and that's why I'm so proud to work with an organization like Positive Images, where we strive to improve the mental health and confidence of youth. Because I know for me, like when I first came out as trans, like my dysphoria made me feel really suicidal and like really wanting to hurt myself, and like just because I felt so wrong in who I was and wrong in my body that the only thing that felt right was to hurt it. And I know that that's not an uncommon feeling. And, you know, just living in a society, you know, we're making huge strides. And like, especially living in Sonoma County, you know, lots of people are queer. It's not really an issue in this county for the most part. But in other places, you know, not everybody has that luxury. And, you know, we have to remember them too. And like, feeling like you have to, so many people have to remain in the closet for their physical safety, but think about what that does for your mental health, you know, not being able to be like who you really are and be authentic with the people who are supposed to care about you just because you're worried for your safety. Like that's such a burden. And I think that sometimes being queer is just like an extra weight that you have to carry. And I don't want it to be that, you know? And I try not to have it be that. I try and wave my flag proudly and wear it as a badge of pride rather than something that's weighing me down. But some days it does weigh you down. Some days it's hard. Just like with any other marginalized group, you know? So I think just remembering to, really my message is to be compassionate and to be kind, because you never know what someone's going through. You never know what's going on up here and, you know, in someone's head. And everybody deserves a hug, some love.
Hi, I'm Stephen Solomon.
Hi, I'm Roxana Fiyama.
Hi, I'm Nancy Vogel.